What is up, people? This is the Oracle. We are back in line for a new Aether Revolt draft. I just wanted to mention that I haven't been uploading a ton last week because I was quite busy and also took a little trip in the mountains with my girlfriend. So this is the main reason why I did not upload a ton. I think this will be uploaded, this draft that you are seeing right now is going to be uploaded on Sunday, and then I will maybe upload another one on Tuesday if I have time. But there will be no other upload until next Monday, which is going to be Monday 20th of February. Because again, I'm leaving my home and having another trip. So basically, not many upload last week and this week, but after that I will go back to a more steady upload schedule with probably 2 or 3 draft series each week. With that being said, pack is not very good. I'm just gonna pick Fatal Push. It's Solid Removal. It's not always the card you should first pick, but here there's nothing better. Foundry Hornet can be really good sometime, but even in some matchup where it should be good, sometimes you just cannot trigger it. It's pretty good in black-green because you really have a ton of +1 counters, otherwise quite medium. The common are pretty bad. Disallow is not really great, so meh. I guess Hinterland Drake is fine. Pretty weak pack though overall, so I don't mind picking Fatal Push out of it. Here the best card is clearly Vengeful Rebel, and we are already in black, so it feels like a pretty easy follow-up. Someone took a rare. Don't really know what it is, but yeah, I guess we cannot really infer match from what's left in this pack. This pack is much better than the one I opened though. There's a Drake too, there's Infusion, a lot of similar commons, except that you have Brawler, which is quite good, and Chaser, which is amazing, as well as Renegade, which is a decent 2-drop. So overall, stronger common, and then the uncommons are also better with Restoration Specialist, which is fine. Probably at its best in white green, if you have a lot of cards that you try to trigger Revolt with, some Artifact and some Unbridled Growth, because once you can get a 2-for-1 out of it, it really becomes a sweet card. Winkin Raiders being better, though, I'm pretty sure. And Rebel being the best card in the pack. Alright, this pack is less... no, actually it's pretty good, never mind. There's a Treasure Keeper, which I'm gonna pick. Just the best card in the pack. Surprising to see that going 3rd pick when it's one of the best colorless uncommon in the set, and it's pack 1, so pack 2 I could see that going later because staying colorless is not, staying open is not as important, but here 2 commons were taken over Keeper, and I doubt it's right. Like, I'm not even sure there's many common that are better than the Keeper. So I'm a little bit surprised about this. One of the common I could see picking might be Daring Demolition, which would be bad news for us as it is a black card, but it's kind of weird to see a Keeper going 3rd pick pack 1 when there's still 3 uncommon and the mythic, so yeah. A little bit strange here. Oh well. The classic Renegade Rallier with Will Smith. Someone asked me, because in a recent draft I talked about the fact that there was some type of printing in MTGO, and actually there is, because they want to make the game as similar as the real game, and also it's to avoid getting a weird seal pool with really the ton of the same card. I've read that somewhere afterwards, but there's definitely some cards that comes together. Like, I've seen Will Smith with Rallier, I think, at least pretty much all the time. Each time there's one of the card, I see the other one, if it has not been picked. And another printing that I see very often is I'm gonna talk about it later. I need to make a pick. I think the best option here is Bandar. Black-green is good, and Bandar was among the best card in the pack. But the other printing I very often see is the Train, the Untethered Express, alongside Pacification Array and Narname Renegade, the 1/2 Death Touch with Revolt. I've seen these 3 cards together, I don't know, between 5 and 10 times, which is quite a lot. when you think about it. Alright. Salvager is decent, not at its best in black-green though. Probably better in black-red or black-blue. Ezasir is fine, but not amazing. Probably gonna pick one of the two Revolt enablers. I do have Vengeful Rebel and Push. There's Growth and Implement of Ferocity. I'm gonna pick Implement just because the only downside is that you have to pay 1 mana, so you know, if you want a Fatal Push it's a total of 2 mana. If you want a Rebel you need to have 4 mana onto the battlefield. But getting counters in the black-green deck really matters. And Growth doesn't do a ton except helping me to splash for stuff, but I'm not even sure I want to splash. And again, the upside of getting a counter on a creature in any deck, but especially in the black-green deck is quite huge. I'm gonna pick another Bandar. I like it more than Druid of the Coal, especially if I'm black-green, which definitely has some synergies with +1 counters. And here I'm gonna pick another Implement. Also, you can use Bandar as a Revolt enabler just by putting every counters it has on a creature, and then it dies, and obviously you get to trigger Revolt. That's a pretty good start, though. I mean, Implement of Ferocity and Bandar are the, pretty much the bread and butter of the black-green deck. Like, those cards are common, they are not super exciting, but they really make the deck consistent and solid and good. And then I have 2 very good Revolt, a solid 4-drop, so it's a really decent start. Black-green is not very often open because it's one of the best color when it comes together, but when you have a good black-green deck, it just feels like crushing everyone. So we have Infusion and Automaton. I don't mind having 1 Automaton in my black-green deck. I might pick it. I do feel like the Infusion is slightly better though. So we did not wield the Hornet, which might indicate that black counter will not be as open as it might be. Slightly annoying, but oh well. Silkweaver Elite, I'm not a huge fan, but once you have a couple Revolt enablers that you are playing no matter what, it becomes decent. I'm not thrilled about playing 2 Infusion. Salvager is decent with Implement, but not amazing. I think I'm gonna pick the Elite. In case I end up with enough enablers, I could see myself playing that. Guess I got another Infusion anyways. Nothing's exciting here. Herbalist pretty medium. So we got a lot of pretty good playables. Like here, there's 7 cards that I'm really happy to put in my deck. Plus, I guess 8. I think 1 Infusion is fine. Plus a couple of other things in the side. That being said, nothing wheeled. So there's probably someone else at the table playing a similar decks and also trying to get the card like Foundry Hornet. And I think we passed 2 Druids of the Coal, so there's definitely someone else playing green. Now, that's still a decent start. I mean, you cannot ask for much more than that if you are playing if you want to play black green. I guess we could use a Bomb Rare, but yeah, we have 2 really nice Revolt that are fairly well enabled, 2 Bandars. Again, it's really the cards you need for this deck, the pilar of the archetype, if you will. Pax is rather unexciting. I guess had I taken the Unbridled Growth and maybe would I get more fixing, I could try to splash for Refiner, which is fine to splash for. Now we have a pick between 2, again, good cards, but not super exciting, Map and Bandar. I think both are better than Implement of Malice, which I do like, but I definitely like these 2 more. I don't mind first picking a Bandar. Again, that card is really super good in this black-green deck. Now, it's not the most exciting first pick, obviously. I don't know about the Map versus Bandar pick. I think if I had no 2-drop, I would, pick the Bandar right away. Now, since I already have 2 Bandars, I don't know, it's close. It's pretty close. I really like the Bandar, though. I like that card. It's just one of the better 2-drop you can play with in this deck, I think. Alright, fairly happy to pick Narnam Renegade here. Growth be decent, another implement be fine, but this is just better. This is what we want. Oh, it's still sorted by color, that's why. Okay. Now it should be good. Okay, Gifted Aetherborn is nice. Looks like we are pretty heavy on green, but most of our green is just mono green anyway. I mean, there's only one. It's no double green cost. And Aetherborn is just great. It also works amazingly well with implements of Ferocity and Bandars, so it's quite great to get that. Okay, Aether Poisoner is a sweet 2-drop. Don't mind picking that and playing it. The good news is now I have enough 2-drops, so I don't have to focus on picking 2-drops anymore. And having enough 2-drops quite early in the draft is something I'm really happy with, because then you can just focus on getting some more power, and you don't have to care about your curve as much. The only thing I'm not super happy right now is that, well, we did not get any other removal than Rebel and Fatal Push, and if we only end up with these two removal spells, it's gonna be a little bit light, especially since I can deal with bigger creature. So hopefully we can get more removal, and especially removal that can deal with, you know, any creature. Another thing I'm not super happy about is the fact that despite getting a bunch of ways to get counters on creature, we did not get any payoff card, which is a little bit saddening, but not the worst. Here I'm gonna pick Cavalry. It's just the best option for us by a pretty large margin, I think. Ooh, that's a really nice gift. Daring Demolition is among the best removal I could hope for, and getting it like what, 6? I think it, yeah, 6 pick is quite great. Pima as a 0 would be fine, but this is exactly what I want. Okay. Well, again, I wish I had a couple payoff for counters, which mostly are in Aether Revolt packs. Even though you have Armor Craft Judge in Kaladesh, which would be just perfect for this deck. But yeah, I wish I had, you know, some payoff cards, but oh well. Deck is still looking really decent. Not a huge fan of Lifecraft Awakening, and it's not looking very good here. Resourceful Return is quite medium, but it's playable. We don't have a ton of artifact right now. It's still the card I'm the most likely gonna play. Don't really like it, but you know, I can play it. Okay, there's another Elite. Not thrilled about that card, but I might end up playing one or both, depending on what other things I get. And if I'm missing 3-drop, it's not the worst. If I somehow wheel a map or an Unbridled Growth, which is not very likely but could happen, I'd be happier playing the Elite, but it's not very likely gonna happen. So the Refiner wheeled. The thing is, I don't think we are wheeling any type of fixing, and I don't really want to play Prophetic Prism in this deck, so splashing for that is not gonna be easy, because we will not get any great piece of fixing pack 3. I think I'm gonna pick Salvager. It's not exactly a combo with Implement of Ferocity, because you would get the counter no matter what, unless you don't have any green. But I guess you can. Yeah, it's not even very good with Bandar. You can sack the Servo from Poisoner. It's not very exciting. A little bit like the Elite. It's 3-drop I can play, but 3-drops I'm not very excited to put in my deck. We'll see though. I will probably end up playing one of the Elite or Salvager at some point. Currently I feel like Elite is slightly better, but not by a lot. Getting a 30 implement of Ferocity makes the Elite slightly better, I guess. Yeah, we have 3 implements, 3 Bandars. It's a little bit sad that we did not get any payoff cards from Aether Revolt. But again, if I could get some 1 or let's be crazy, 2 Armor Craft Judge in Kaladesh, that'd be just amazing. That'd be just great. Don't mind having a Force Breach Prowler in my side. It's pretty good in some matchup. We have a 30 Infusion, which... well, I don't think we'll play the second one, but... it's not the worst. Back is pretty bad for us. I think I will end up main decking an Appetite for the Unnatural. I'm not unhappy about that, but it's really medium. I think it's a better option than Die Young, though. And this Club Security is probably wheeling anyways. I might play that. It's not the worst. I think it's better than people think it is. Sure, it doesn't have any ability to 3-4 for 4, but 3-4 is actually a solid body in this set and stops a lot of things. So I think the card is better than it looks like. Just, you know, because of the other cards and the meta game, even though it's quite unexciting when you look at it. Yeah, I guess it's gonna be Appetite, which I'm not super thrilled about, but I don't mind having one Removal in my deck, Artifact or Enchantment Removal, and this is pretty much the best one I could get in these colors, so why not? Why not? What's going on with picture? Alright. If we get some payoff for +1 counters, Artisan be fine. Now it's just looking like a decent way to fill the curve, but not something I'm really excited about. Colony I don't love, and we have a lot of 2-drops right now, so it's even less appealing. This is not a deck for Pummeler. Creeping Mold is just much worse than Appetites. I could play the Puzzle Knot, but it would mostly be a costly and clunky card draw spell. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Artisan. Quite unhappy about this Aether Revolt pack so far, and it's not getting better. It's clearly not getting better. We are not getting anything good, which is unfortunate. I think I have 2 Artificers right now. The Poisoner and the Artisan. That being said, Goggles is not a bad card. It's pretty good even if you don't have a ton of Artificers, but this deck doesn't have a lot of Artificer and doesn't care about getting some cheap artifacts, so it's really the worst deck for Goggles, even though Goggles is not the worst even in the worst deck. If this makes sense. Sky Skiff I don't think is great here. I'm gonna pick Goggles. Not happy about that pick though. Things are not going well, and now we got a 4-speed Cub. I'm pretty sure the colors we are in are the colors we should be playing and are rather open. We got a Relay Demolition, now 4-speed Cub. We got a lot of Bandars. It's just the pack were bad for us, the 3 last pack. And now I'm gonna pick the Cub. Hopefully I can wheel the Broker, because it would fit the curve pretty well. Cobra be playable, but I don't really need 2-drops. Creature would be medium. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Feel like, again, this draft is, it's not going bad. We are in the right colors, doing the right thing. It's just that pack are not very keen to us. I'm gonna pick Honda Week here. I can definitely use another Reinvolve. I'd be happy to wheel Pile Up Bug, Club Security or Guide, but I definitely want a little bit more Reinvolve. Alright, Gear Up or Guide and Bug. I really enjoy playing with Bug when I can put counters on it, or equipment. When it becomes, a 3-4, 4-5 lifelinker, then it's really a big threat. Where, yeah, I think Guide is not as exciting. Bug is really good with +1 counters, and is a 3-drop I especially enjoy in black-green. Ooh, Trumpeteer is nice. So we got 1 payoff card, for a counter on creatures, which is not the worst, but I wish I had more. That being said, Trumpeteer is going to be quite awesome here. Ooh, that's a very late Pima Outrider. That's amazing. Yeah, just love it. Yeah, looks like we are in the right colors, and we did just not get a ton of thing early on for some unknown reason. This might end up being my main deck. I'm gonna play 16 land because I have a lot of cards that cycles, and my curve is actually not very high. This might seem greedy, but the more cards you have that cantrip, the more likely you will end up flooding. Just because when you are drawing a card in limited, it's not like constructed. If you are drawing a card in limited, it's not really a full card. It's more like 0.9 or 0.8 card, because at some point lands becomes really irrelevant, and a deck like this doesn't really have a a way to spend the mana, the extra mana later on the game. For that reason, I think playing 16 land is reasonable to try mitigate flooding, and also because we can do most things with only 4 mana. Like we have one 5-drop, and again this deck seems solid. We have 15 creature, a couple revolts, a decent curve, but it's a deck that could really end up in trouble if I just flood out. I'm gonna pick takedown for the side, and I doubt we are willing anything relevant. There might be argument to play the elite, but I have 15 creature, which I'm happy with. I like artisan more than elite. It's kinda close though, because this deck is rather aggressive, which might make the 2/2 body better than the 1/4. And we have a lot of ways to enable Revolt, so I don't know. That's a very late Glimmer of Genius. Maybe I should play Elite over Club Security. Don't really want my creature to be too small and too weak though. Ooh, Guide Wield. That's kinda cool. I'm definitely gonna end up playing that. I might just cut the goggles though. Kinda does the same thing as Implement, but not, you have to move them. I'm playing 16 lands, so I might not have a ton of mana to, move that around. I really don't have a lot of Artificers. I don't really care about the artifacts. Goggle is a good card. I don't think it's gonna shine here. High Spire Infusion, I don't mind having one, as the deck is rather aggressive, has a couple lifelinker, and I don't have a ton of removal. The less removal I have, the more happy I am to play pump spells and tricks. Because once you have a ton of removal, there will be less blocking, and cards like Infusion becomes worst, at least in my opinion. And I think this is the deck I will end up playing. And again, I think I just like the Artisan more than the Elite, despite having a couple Revolt enablers. Artisan is just a pretty good wall. And even though the deck is mostly aggressive, I can use a wall. And I'm pretty sure the mana base is gonna be 8/8. I have more green, but I have a double black here, a double black there. So yeah, we'll just do that. MTGO is gonna say something different, but I do not agree. Would not recommend playing 6 Swamps in your deck with Gifted Aetherborn and Daring Demolition. I could see 9/7 because green is more important, but I think 8/8 is fine. Again, slightly greedy on the land. I could see playing a forest over maybe an implement or something you don't like. Maybe leave the artisan aside, but I don't really want to flood out. Again, the curve is pretty flat. I mean, pretty not really flat, but pretty low. We can do a lot of things with not a lot of mana. We have a lot of 2-drops that are pretty strong. Yeah, I think I'm fine doing that. So that's gonna be the deck. Black-green mid-range. Seems decent to me. Could use more invol. I wish I had some more payoff for counters on creature, but overall the deck is solid. I think we were in the right colors. And that's gonna be that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the draft. Drop a like if it's the case. You can also share the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. And I hopefully see you for round 1.